So, who was a little worried about the snow on the first day?
Me!
Anyway, I was a little worried, but I knew it would be okay because it would keep the mosquitoes away. But it turns out that they're starting to show up again. So, I decided to utilize this trick that I learned from a friend. Like, I'd heard that if a mosquito lands on you and starts sucking your blood, that if you flexed when it was pretty full, the sudden increase of blood pressure would basically cause it to explode. So, when the mosquito landed on me, and it started sucking my blood, I went, "Ah, ah." I'm sorry, that was a joke from 3 years ago. It's now tradition for me to use that again, and those of you who've seen me do it all for years, I see you like, I see what you did. But anyway, I started thinking about new jokes to write, and I couldn't think of any. So thankfully, I had some real life experiences to share with you. I work at Chick-fil-A. I've been working there for about 2 months now. And it's a great environment, good Christian environment. The food's good, really good too. But I'm a cashier, so I get to deal with the people. So I've learned that some pretty weird characters come in and order food sometimes. One example is, this is like my 3rd day having my own register for the first time ever. And I see these people that have a bunch of signs all of a sudden, and what seems to be their leader comes up and wants to talk to me. And she says, "The MSG in your chicken is so bad." And I'm like, okay, I gotta have a straight face, I gotta be courteous. But the thing is that she keeps ranting on about our MSG, and she says, "Oh, the MSG, it's poisoning the young people, it's putting farmers out of business." What's that noise?
The mic.
Back to MSG. Anyway, I'm keeping a totally straight face while this is going on and being nice and courteous. And then she keeps saying, like, "Oh, you need to talk to your manager about this. You need to send a letter to your owner. You need to say to the CEO of the company, stop putting MSG in your chicken." I'm like, okay. Is there anything else I can give you? I'll have the number 2. Which is the original deluxe chicken sandwich, if you're wondering. I'm like, really? But another thing I learned when I was a cashier is that you have to ask a lot of questions, so you don't have very much time to breathe in between questions. And I learned that if I don't breathe for a while, my diaphragm will spasm randomly, which means that my body's trying to get air, and when I'm not giving it air. So I guess orders at number 5, which is the chicken nuggets, by the way. And I'm like, okay, would you like that the 8 or 12 piece? Would you like that? Would you like to upsize your fries? Would you like to drink with that? Would you like to upsize your drink? And all of a sudden I'm like, and the guest is like, what was that? And I'm like, no, it's nothing. Also, would you like to have brown? So, weird people in diaphragm spasms, it happens. Alright, another real life story. About 3 weeks ago, I was hanging out with some friends, Matt Tate being one of them, and we were pretty hungry and thirsty, so we decided to go for a late night snack. So, it's about 11:45, and we go to the nearest gas station, and we're starting to make our purchases. We're like, there's maybe one other person in there besides us. And then all of a sudden, this really sketchy couple comes in, and I didn't think much of it at first. But then the woman of the couple picked up a pack of Orbit Spearmint gum. I was like, okay, that's pretty normal. So I go up to the register, and then I noticed that she's been looking at the package of gum for about 3 minutes. Like, what is so transfixing about this? But anyway, I continue to go about my business. I make my purchases and wait for my other friends to get done. And then I see that she has her hand in her purse. And she's been keeping it there for a while. So I'm getting a little more nervous. And then, thankfully, another 2 people come in that aren't associated with this other couple. And then all of a sudden, the guy goes up to the girl and says, "It's too many people, too many people." And I'm like, and then they haul out of there, they drop the package of gum, and they're never to be seen again. And I'm like really nervous, and I go over to Matt and I'm like, "Did we just almost get robbed?" He's like, "Yeah, we almost got robbed." I was so stoked. I'm like, "Why?" I would have taken him down. What if she had a gun? I would have taken it from her. Which I could totally believe Matt, because he's like a pro martial artist. But anyway, I was like, could I just keep you like on a utility belt, so in case I ever get in trouble, I could just flip you out whenever I want to? Anyway, this is the first time my mom and dad have heard this story. I thought what better way to break the news to them with comedy. I love you, Mom. I almost got robbed. That's all.